This is a short video to summarize the legs of Trans-Euro Trail related to Sardinia Trail. I'm preparing this short summary of videos related to Trans-Euro Trail in Italy to briefly explain and give you indications about the trails, about the legs that that we have been developing in the last few years for Trans-Euro Trail Italy. So you will find 3 videos, one for the West-East North Italian Trail, one for Sardinia and one for Sicily. I'll try to keep these videos short. Maybe they won't be always the most updated because of course I cannot make like a new video every time there are like minor changes to the trail, but the idea of these videos is to give you a general indication of what you can expect when you prepare these your holidays or your trips using the Trans-Euro Trail Italy. So today I'm going to touch the legs related to Sardinia Island. Some general information first. Well, as I always say, please keep in mind that the life of the Trans-Euro Trail and the possibilities to develop this project for free and in a peaceful way relies on each of us. So let's try to be respectful. Let's try to be respectful with the wildlife, with the nature, with the animals we encounter along our ways. Remember, the Trans-Euro Trail is not a race circuit. We cover public, we suggest the best public roads to be used basically to travel, to roam around Europe, in this case Italy, off-road. So the whole Trans-Euro Trail relies basically on each of us. It's our own responsibility to be respectful in order to keep this project alive for a long time. And again, like general indications, the Trans-Euro Trail developed in Sardinia is a quite technical one, so much more technical than the north one, for example, than the west-east. So I highly recommend at least 50-50 tires, so 50 off-road, 50 on-road, medium-size enduro bikes. So it might be a little bit hard if you are driving overloaded GS with road tires. This is definitely not the Trans-Euro Trail you want to cover if this is your bike. Keep this in mind. Of course, it depends also on your skills, but in general I would say this is definitely a trail designed for medium and lightweight bikes with at least 50-50 tires. Camping, of course, like in the rest in the whole Italy, is not allowed generally. In some places is tolerated, so keep this in mind. That generally, if you are pitching your tent not in a camping, in an authorized camping, well, this is not legal basically. Sardinia is a very wild place, so I'm pretty sure you can find places where people are fine with that, but in general this is not allowed. So you use your brain, use your mind when you choose where and if to camp. And what else? Fences. Sometimes you will encounter fences along the trail. These fences are mostly made to contain kettles, to contain animals in specific areas. So the general rule is if you find fences open, you let them open. If you find fences closed, you open the fence, you pass by, you close the fence, and you continue. Never, ever open a fence, pass by, and leave the fence open if it was closed before, because again, the fence is there closed most probably to contain kettles. So again, keep this in mind. What else? Best season, for sure April to May and September to November. In between, June, August is very hot, too hot for riding motorbikes, so it's not going to be pleasant. And same way, December to March can be very, very wet, sometimes even dangerous, and for sure you're going to find a lot of mud and snow sometimes, especially in the high mountains above 1,000 meters. So we start from leg 11, which is basically the leg 11 is starting from Isola della Sinara, basically, which is a national park. It's really nice national park. I suggest you, if you have time, to stop by, like stay there one day and get a guide, a local guide. This again is a national park, so it's completely closed area. You need to take a ferry to get to the island, to this small island. And if you want to have a full experience, get yourself a local guide, can guide you through the national park and also to the old, now it's phased out, it's not more, it's not a prison anymore, but there was basically there a sort of the Italian Alcatraz in a way. So this old prison, many bad guys were like caged there, and now it's just a national park with this old prison as a that stays there as a museum, as a sort of tourist attraction. But again, very characteristic, very scenic area. And then from Stintino, basically you can basically enter Sardinia from Porto Torres, basically, which connects again Asinara Island and Civitavecchia, so the mainland, and also should also connect some harbors in, I'm not sure, yes, should connect also some harbors from Corsica. So we continue riding south, and we follow the Argentiera beaches. This part is mostly paved, but really extremely beautiful, and with a lot of really nice beaches that you can stroll around and enjoy. In this part you will find the natural park. Here you will find the natural park of Porto Conte and the Neptune's caves, which are here. So again, if you have times, take your time, leave the bikes somewhere and get yourself into these caves, because they are astonishing. After that, you continue through Alghero. Alghero, it's also a nice city where you can spend the first night maybe and stroll around having good seafood and get yourself prepared for the next day, because the next day you will leave the coast and you will start climbing up the mountains. So towards basically Foresta de Burgos, we get inland. These roads are mostly mountain or countryside, unpaved, easy roads, so nothing extreme so far. Here we get basically at the cross point of two other legs. The second leg we cover is leg 12, which is also the one in the north part of Sardinia, coming from Corsica again, from Porto Torres. Basically, we end from Santa Teresa di Gallura. We enter the island and we go south. In this part you have some tricky parts. They can be very steep sometimes, so for sure it's not super easy, this part. You need to either have a quite good experience or the right motorbike for it. I had it, please, when you are preparing your trip in Sardinia, download the trails and check the info points you will find with the GPX file, and you will get basically all the information you need, and also some indications on where the road is trickier. After that, you enter, you pass by Tempio village, which is a really nice town. And after Tempio village, you will find this Tempio, and you will find all these mountains, which are limestone mountains shaped by the wind. So they have very curvy and particular shapes of stones, really nice to see. And you climb up the mountain up to the former NATO radio base. Now it's dismissed, but there are still those big antennas, radio antennas for communication. So it's basically former military tourist attraction. Really nice to see, to stroll around for a little bit. And then after that you go down to Berchida. Berchida, it's a small town, quite nice, the city center, and I would say the highlight of this village is the zuppa alla berchidese soup, which is a very typical soup you can find all in this village, made with the typical tomato sauce and bread from Sardinia. After that, we continue till the end of the trail of this leg, actually, till Tandalo, where you find nice areas in the middle of nowhere to stop, to rest, or camp if you want to. And after that, we enter section 13. Section 13 goes through forest road managed by Forestas, which is the main regional body that regulates forest roads. Most of them are really helpful and friendly people, but please keep in mind forest road in general Sardinia is a very delicate ecosystem because the nature is amazing, super wild, but it also the whole region, especially during summertime, gets very dry. It suffers a lot of wildfires. So these forest roads have been mainly built and maintained by Forestas in order to use them to fight wildfires. And you will find many of the forest guards indeed working on maintaining the roads, working on preserving the forest and checking for wildfires. So remember, these people are working very hard to preserve the nature there. Try to be respectful with them. Always slow down when you find them, and always double check if there are no temporary regulations or temporary forbidden roads. If there is something which is temporarily forbidden and tell you to turn around, don't complain and just turn around. Again, the most important thing is trying to be respectful and keep in mind this is not an amusement park. People, they rely on these roads to live and to survive on this island, and they base like their life on this. So be respectful. What else? Pattada. So we go through Pattada basically, and here basically the leg 13 is mostly high road, so it's always above or around 1,000 meters altitude. Pattada is a very famous village for knives. So they manufacture local knives, handcrafted knives. So if you're really into knives, this is a nice place where you can get something cool. I forgot to mention this trail. So leg 13 will be in future. We will extend it to Oristano. So in order to create a connection for people coming or arriving by ferry from Italy and arriving in Oristano, so you can basically directly get connected to the leg 13, to the existing leg 13. We will create a connection here basically. So after Pattada, well, this is also part. These are quite wide unpaved roads. Also the international VRC rally races here sometimes. So they're well-maintained wide roads. We proceed towards south. We reach Monte Pisano. Let me see. Yeah, Monte Santo Padre. All these part basically around here, Monte Pisano, are very nice roads. Nothing too difficult. You cross very ancient forests. So some of these forests are over 1,000 years old. So immense big trees and really wild and old forests, really astonishing. And after that, you are gonna go down to Macomer till Narbolia. So Macomer, Narbolia, this leg, which is mainly paved roads, and the trail after here is following basically seaside. Here there is a little deviation around Fontanas, which is again something really nice. You can go up here the mountains and enjoy this view of the seaside, of the coast. Can be very tricky also this part because it's very steepy, so this whole part is not super easy. Keep this in mind. And then again the paved roads till the end of the leg 13. So what else to say? Seaside, this part will be very busy during summertime, so there are like cars and people passing by, walking or cycling. Keep this in mind. And here you will find San Giovanni. In this part you will find Tarros archaeological site, which is indeed on a very nice archaeological site, and you can stroll around in this area and also in Oristano to enjoy a little bit of holiday and summer vibes and beach vibes. So leg 14, the last one, it goes from Oristano to Piscinas beach basically. So the first part of the trail it's mainly paved roads. So they start from Oristano main town, and they go into the countryside up to the mountains. From Oristano through Monte Arci basically is the first mount you're gonna find, and then they're mainly forest roads. Nice view of the mountains, surrounded by indeed all this part by wind farms, by wind turbines. And after that we continue towards Teralpa and town, and then we can go down basically following the Foruras basically, and there is a little deviation here about for Monte Fonneso, Punta Fonneso, with a great view of the seaside basically, and if you are lucky and it's very clear sky, up to Piscinas beach. After this part we continue up to the mountain again. Here it's mainly up and down of the mountains, down to basically to the village, up mountains again, down again to the seaside, up the mountains again. Some of this part, especially if it's wet, can be very tricky because sometimes they are very steep indeed and with rocks. So keep this in mind, because for sure they are not easy trails, super easy trails. So this is really important to keep in mind. After this part we go down again to basically Portumaga here. Here after Portumaga, this is a really nice village on the seaside. There are some torrents or streams, water streams to ford, especially when it's raining. They can be pretty powerful. So again, having like knobby tires or maybe being two people is helpful, especially if you have to push like the motorbike through these torrents, through these rivers. To ford them, then up again to the mountains, up to Monte Vecchio. Monte Vecchio, it's a old town, a historical village basically, with a really nice museum as well. So I suggest you to stay there and spend a few hours around. Then down through this very twisty, unpaved road. It's a provincial road, 66 to be precise, but mainly unpaved, and this leads basically to Piscinas beach. Piscinas beach, they're one of the most beautiful beaches in Sardinia, extremely beautiful. It's part of a bigger national park, and it's absolutely forbidden to ride on the dunes by motorbike, and also walking on the dunes also by foot is forbidden. It's a very delicate ecosystem. Please keep this in mind. Indeed, it's so beautiful that it has to be carefully protected, and forest guards are really strict in this part, so no jokes. After Piscinas, you can indeed spend some time there, enjoy the view, enjoy the nature, and basically you can. That's basically the end of the leg so far. And this is pretty much everything. I think I said everything about the trail of Sardinia. Again, this is not an amusement park, so, and neither a racetrack. So keep in mind that Sardinia is a very delicate and vulnerable ecosystem. It's extremely beautiful but also vulnerable. So we have to be respectful with people and with nature there. Keep this in mind, please, if we want to make something good for the Trans-Euro Trail. And this is pretty much everything. Hope you will enjoy it and drive safely. Bye.